It's my reset, walking head high, that's the preset. Got the J in the chair, you can breathe it. Exhale, we gon' turn that hurt into detail. It's my reset, new page, new frame, hit the refresh. If you made it to the screen, that's a big flex. Type here in the box, that's progress. That's progress. You've been carrying that weight since the group chat. Smiling in the pic, but you knew that. Heart say break, mind say keep going. Now you in the lobby and the lights start glowing. Edge laid, hoodie on, still holy. Tear stains on the sleeve, still cozy. Black girl doc with the big gold hoops. Say your name and the chain get loose. It's my reset, walking head high, that's the preset. The J in the chat, you can breathe it. Exhale, we gon' turn that hurt into detail. It's my reset, new page, new frame, hit the refresh. If you made it to the screen, that's a big flex. Type here in the box, that's progress. That's progress. We wave when we wade through the deep end. We brave when we break, then we deepen. You safe in the space when you log in. Drop one word for your check-in. It's my reset, walking head high, that's the preset. The J in the chat, you can breathe it. Exhale, we gon' turn that hurt into detail. It's my reset, new page, new frame, hit the refresh. If you made it to the screen, that's a big flex. Type here in the box, that's progress. That's progress.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Reset with Dr. J, where we take those WTF moments and we turn them into breakthroughs. So if you haven't tuned in before, I am Dr. Arielle Jordan. I'm an Army veteran. I am a therapist. So I want to talk to you about something that people don't often address directly, but I've been addressing it like all week. So I definitely want to touch on this. But before I do that, let me make sure that my sound is coming through. Okay, it is. Cool. I don't know if y'all have ever done like a recording or show or something like that, and then you realize 30 minutes later that your sound didn't come in, but I have. So I'm always going to stop and check that because I have that nervousness, like that I might get 30 minutes in and I'm feeling my vibe and my groove, and then no one heard what I said. So I'm always gonna check that first. Um, Also, whenever I'm in a different setting or location and have different equipment and all of that. But I definitely want to, give you something that will offer you value. That's the point of doing the reset. That's the point of why I picked Sundays to do it, because we're getting ready for our week, usually, or reflecting back on the last week. And so we all need a little bit of a reset. So I want to talk to you, about a topic that I think is going to be helpful. And okay, so you know that feeling that someone might call you and they're stressed out, and then like by the time you hang up the phone, you're stressed out. Like if that's ever happened to anybody, let me know. Drop that in the comments. Also, drop where you're tuning in from, because a lot of people tune in from different locations, and I love to see, where we all come from. Okay, so anyways, back to my topic here. Okay, okay, someone has in your household is in like a really bad mood, and then suddenly the energy shifts and like everybody starts walking on eggshells or something like that. Or you spend an hour, just listening to a friend, and they leave feeling better, but you're sitting there like, wait, what happened to me? Usually these are themes that people can relate to, right? If it's ever happened to you, you're not alone. But that's not just empathy. That's like absorbing what was never yours to hold. And so, because I've had to help a lot of people with this all throughout the week, I was like, that's the topic for my show this week. So, today we're going to look at um, how we are talking about how to care about people deeply, right? Because we don't want to stop caring or be cold or anything like that. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about how to care about people deeply without making their emotional weight your full-time job. Caring without carrying. So I'm bringing in the science because you already know I love some science, some neuroscience, but also people are going to say, but Dr. J, that's just what you do for people you love. And I hear you. And let's talk about it. So let me do my disclaimer. Quick reminder, I am a licensed therapist, but I am not your therapist. This is just a conversation, not treatment. I take the themes over the week, put together an episode, share with you, and I really hope that it enriches your life. However, if you are in crisis, I need you to call or text 988. Someone is going to be there for you 24/7. If you're a vet, or a military community, go ahead and call 988 +1 because you'll get someone that's trained in military culture. So it's a little bit different than the, general population. So now that that's out of the way, let me go ahead and get into our topic today. Let me take a sip of water. My throat's a little dry. I got in a good workout before this. So trying to hydrate back up. Okay, so let me be clear about something before we really get into this. Caring about people is one of the most powerful things you can do. So we're not questioning that. That's not the frame of mind that I want you to be in. We're not questioning that today. What we are talking about is the difference between caring about someone and being responsible for how they feel, because those are two different things. In the military and veteran communities, I think this comes up a lot. Because many of you and us, we were trained to take care of our people. And that's kind of how it goes. We take care of our people. That's it. You watch out for your team. You cover each other. And that becomes part of how you operate, which is a beautiful thing. Okay. It saves lives. But when you take that same energy and you apply it to every single relationship and interaction in your civilian life, you end up exhausted. You end up emotionally tapped and you're always running on low. So, the interesting part though, the people that you're trying to help don't always realize that. So, they tend to feel better, but because they offload it, they move on. And you're sitting there and you're carrying something that wasn't really meant for you to carry. So I work with people on this a lot. And when I bring it up, one of the first things that people say is, but I don't want to be selfish. And I've said that myself before too. And I get it. I really do. But staying so open that you absorb what's around you, yeah, that's that's not selfish, but it's also not sustainable. So when you think about showing up for people in the way that you want to, that's when you're running low. And you can't show up for people the way you want to when you're running low. You just can't. It's not possible. So we're going to talk about how to stay present and connected and caring, but you're not going to lose yourself in the process. So that's the topic for today, to get into a little bit more. I want people to take care of themselves. What I hear, I think lately, and at least this is in the therapist community, but I hear a lot of self-sacrificing. And it's like, whoa, 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 wait a minute. How are you supposed to be the best that you can be? And you're not even taking care of yourself. And it doesn't quite make sense, right? So that's what we want to get into. So let me get into why this happens in the first place. Let me start there. Because once you understand what your brain is doing, it makes a lot more sense. So, your brain has something called mirror neurons. Mirror neurons. That word trips me up sometimes. So, these are the cells that fire when you observe someone else's emotions or actions. Basically, your brain mirrors what it sees around it. Okay, stay with me. That's why maybe if you've ever I can't do this, but maybe y'all do this. Watch videos of like people getting hurt or something like that on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. Like if you've ever seen um like those type of videos where someone might get hit or they might get hurt but you flinch, that's mirror neurons. Or why you start laughing when someone near you is cracking up. I know this happens with my best friends a lot. It'll be something so stupid and like it's not funny, but there one of us starts cracking up, and so the other of us, we're like looking like, okay, it really wasn't that funny, and then we just start cracking up. This happens with my boyfriend too, but it's hilarious. Like you're looking at each other like, okay, that wasn't that funny, but then you start cracking up and it really is a gut laugh. Like it's funny now. It wasn't, whatever they said wasn't funny, but because we're all laughing, you know. And so, or also while you feel tense if you walk into a room where people are clearly disagreeing. This is how I knew I wasn't called to be a couples therapist, because when I did couples therapy when I worked at Walter Reed, it was not my thing. Because I would feel it. I would feel, some people are really good at like not, but I wasn't. I already knew after doing a couples therapy. Now the couples ended up okay. Theory and neuroscience go a long way. But for myself, when I left, I would be like drained, and I would feel like I'm the third person in their argument, and that's not my calling. So I learned trauma and working with military community is my calling. But anyways, that is mirror neurons. You feel it. Your brain is picking up on it automatically. You're not trying to do that. It's happening automatically. Researchers at University of Parma first identified mirror neurons in the 1990s. And since then, the research has shown that they play a significant role in what we call emotional contagion, like it's contagious. So, emotional contagion is basically exactly what it sounds like. Emotions spread from person to person. So, you can think about it like a cold. We always see the sneeze traveling a little bit further, and then the next person's sick or whatever. Think of emotions like that right now, like a cold. Except most people aren't washing their hands. So, to put that in perspective for you, so people who are highly empathic, which includes a lot of vets, a lot of first responders, a lot of caregivers, a lot of parents, they tend to be more susceptible to the emotional contagion. It's not a flaw though. I don't want to make it seem like it's a flaw. It's a feature in the right context. So when you're absorbing what's around you throughout the day, research published in the Journal of Emotion shows that it can lead to higher rates of burnout and emotional exhaustion. So we got to check ourselves. And it's not because you care too much. So I don't want that to be the message, but it's because you haven't learned to separate your feelings from someone else's. And also not trying to make it seem like it's easy either, but this is the why that we're in right now. So the term is differentiation. It's the ability to stay emotionally connected to someone while staying grounded in yourself. And most therapists do this really well. And I get the question a lot. I've been a therapist for over 10 years now. And I get the question a lot is like, how in the world do you deal with trauma, or you show up at the crisis, as a crisis response, and just, go home? Well, it's because we have to do the work, right? And 10 years in, I would hope that I got some sort of a flow down, right? Um, but it's the differentiation of showing up to a crisis response where someone has just passed away, and being able to feel, wow, this person really meant a lot to this company. And that's why I'm here to sit with them in it. But it's not mine to take home, but I can sit with them and be emotionally connected to them while they grieve this person, and understand why that is so important to them. And then when I leave, I gotta do my own work. I gotta be like, woo, that was a lot. Oh my goodness. I talked to so many people today. That's so sad that that person, they saw them on Friday and said, see you Monday, and they didn't. And it's sad. And we're allowed to feel, and you're allowed to feel sad for them. But we have to differentiate that, I can feel sad for them, and that's their work to do. When I do a crisis response, I'm only there for that day usually. Sometimes they'll call me back for the next day, but usually it's just that day. So I also know that it makes me a little sad that I'm not going to see them again, that I'm not going to be able to help facilitate the healing that comes after that. And it's sad for me too. I'm like, oh man, damn, I wish I could help them heal, but I can't. That's the reality, right? So that's differentiation. I know I'm leaving the scene, and I give it all I got while I'm there, and I leave it there. And if I'm still thinking about it later, I just remind myself I'm allowed to feel too. But also, they have to, continue their healing journey, and I'm just not going to be there with them. I left resources, and I go through that process emotionally so that I'm okay. It doesn't take a week to recover from that. And so that's why I'm able to do that. But it doesn't just come overnight. We got to understand it, and then we got to like practice some skills. So this explains a lot. Okay, I'm glad you're resonating with me. Okay. And yes, it can be exhausting. That's exactly what I'm getting to. That's exactly what I'm getting to. And so you're feeling that. Mhm. Yep. So instead of going, wherever they go emotionally, which is exhausting, you stay present with them while staying anchored in yourself. So that's what we're practicing today. It's a skill, which means you can get better at it. So if you feel overwhelmed, it's not just gonna like happen overnight. We got to put some work in, and that's what we about to do. So I wanted to make sure that it's understood first, because it's a game changer when we start to understand this stuff. It's like, wait a minute, I'm choosing to do this because this is what I've always done. But now that I have a better understanding, okay, well, this is what I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to do something different, right? We're not looking for perfection here, never. In every episode that you've ever seen of the reset, I say that we're not looking for perfection. It is forward movement that we're trying to achieve. So if you take anything with you, that's the hope. So I'm gonna get into some tools that I came up with, that I think will be helpful, that you can try. And this is all about the try, because if we don't do anything different, then the outcome is going to be the same. But if we try something and it works, and we're like, oh, okay, so now I'm a little less exhausted. Great, right? We want better quality of life. So let's see if we can do it a little bit better. So tool one, it is going to be the emotional ownership check. Okay. The emotional ownership check. So first thing, learning whose emotions you're actually feeling. Because when you're empathetic, the lines can blur very fast. Someone comes to you upset, and then within a few minutes, you're upset too. But is that your emotion? Or did you absorb it from them? A lot of people don't stop to ask that question. So here's what you do. This is about mindfulness here. You stop paying attention to how you feel before. You start paying attention, my bad. You start paying attention to how you feel before and after interactions. It's data. I'm a researcher, y'all, so I love me some data. But mindfulness, going back to the mental health piece, mindfulness, right? We're collecting data. Start paying attention to how you feel before and after interactions. Before the conversation, where were you emotionally? After the conversation, what shifted? If you walk in feeling fine and you're walking out feeling heavy, anxious, or like you need to fix something, that's worth paying attention to. Then ask yourself, was I feeling like this before we talked? Is this emotion giving me information about my life or their situation? Is there something that I actually need to do here, or am I just carrying it? Because there's a difference between someone telling you something that requires an action from you and someone telling you something that just requires your presence. So I talk about this a lot when it comes to grief. When it comes to grief, this comes up a lot because people are like, I don't know what to say. And they feel like they need to say something or do something. And trust me, it comes from a good place. We don't want our people hurting, you know? So we think we have to say something, but sometimes just listening is all that person wanted, is for them to know, like, hey, I hear you. And, I'm here. Or, I thought it might be something that I needed to say, but really you can say, yeah, I have no words. I have no words. That's okay because you don't. You know what I mean? So a lot of times you like take on the feeling that it requires an action when it really just required you to listen. And when you realize that the emotion isn't actually yours, you can return it. Not in a cold way, though. None of this means being cold. It's just an internal acknowledgement. Oh, this belongs to them. I care about them, but this isn't mine to carry home. And so, with the example that I gave a little bit earlier in the show, my most recent critical incident that I responded to, the the feeling that I felt, because it was so engaging. So many people came to share about the person that they lost and the shock and the wonderful things that they had added to their company and that there'll never be another one. And I'm listening to all of this, and I remember feeling, dang, I'm gonna like miss these people, like the conversations that we had, and they just seem to be really good people, and it's so sad for their loss. And I cared about them. Even in that short period of time, I cared about them and what they experienced and how they experienced it. But I also had to realize at some point, this isn't mine to carry home. So that mental shift actually works. Research in cognitive behavioral therapy shows that accurately labeling emotions, including identifying when they're not ours to carry, it reduces their intensity. So you're not pushing it away. You're just kind of like, think of it as organizing. Oh, okay, I need to put this back where it goes. So you start to notice the shift. And then that awareness alone changes everything. So that is the first thing, the first tool I want to leave you with. It is the tool of the emotional ownership check. So you're going to try that and see if it changes anything for you. And if it doesn't, I mean, hey, that's okay too. Hopefully, we sprinkle something in there that'll shake something up. Okay. The next tool is the support menu. The support menu. So the second thing, showing up for people without writing a blank check with your energy. A lot of people jump straight into fix it mode when someone comes to them with something, or they go full absorption. They take it on, they think about it for days, they lose sleep over it. And the person who came to them, they shared it, they feel lighter, they done moved on. So that dynamic shows up a lot in the veteran community and military relationships. You're trained to solve problems, and to take care of people, but not every problem is yours to solve. So before you dive in, you need to ask, what is it that you actually need? Okay, so what do you need from me right now? Do you need me to just listen? Do you need me to help you think it through? Or do you need some space? That question changes everything. I have someone in the comments, definitely been guilty of doing that. Oh my gosh. And it's so human. Like literally we all do that. And so that's why I love having these conversations, because I feel like connects us. It connects us so much, because it's like, oh wait, so other people do that too. Now some people do it at a higher level than others, and we need to, work on it to make it better, but all of us do it, you know. But that question changes everything. When you ask people, okay, what do you need from me right now? Do you just need me to listen? Do you need me to help you think it through? Do you want some space right now? Sometimes that like will have you skip a whole argument. So, because now they have to think about it. They have to think about, well, wait a minute, what do I need? I guess I'm just I guess I'm just telling you because I want you to listen, or I guess I'm just telling you because I want you to help me think it through. Or maybe I'm just needed to say that. And I guess space would be good, but that puts it back on me to figure it out rather than you to figure it out. And you're not guessing or over giving, so the energy shift a little bit. So you offer from what you actually have, not what you wish you had. So if you're running low, say so. I'm a little tapped right now, but I'm here. If you have capacity to give it, okay, I got time. Let's talk. And then you set a natural container. So think of it like a mission with a defined scope. It has a beginning and an end. I've got about 30 minutes, or I need to be somewhere at 3, but I'm here until then. It's not a wall. It's and it gives your brain something important, a signal that this conversation is not infinite. There's going to be an end here. So you don't have to absorb it indefinitely. Research on caregiver burnout shows that people who set parameters around support tend to have lower rates of emotional exhaustion. Not surprising, right? It's not about being unavailable. It's just about being sustainably available. So try that this week. Ask what they need before you assume, and just see what happens. So that's the second tool, the support menu. Okay. And let me get into the last one. Tool number 3, the decompress protocol. The third thing, getting back to yourself after a heavy interaction, because we will have them. We are human. We're going to have heavy interactions, because even when you are intentional, you're still going to absorb some things sometimes. It's human. That's what mirror neurons do. Remember what we talked about. So you need a way to come back to yourself. Your nervous system needs a clear signal that the interaction is over, that you're back in your own space. This is relevant for veterans and first responders because your nervous system is already trained to stay activated. That's why we have problems transitioning out, right? So you have to be intentional about downshifting. So what do? You create a transition, something that signals, oh, okay, that was then and this is now. It could be a short walk before you go inside. It could be 5 minutes of quiet. It can even be something like washing your hands. And I know it sounds super simple, but University of Michigan had some research that showed physical cleansing rituals actually help the brain release what it's been holding symbolically. Your brain responds to ritual. Use that. One of the things I do when I'm doing EMDR with my clients, that's the eye movement therapy. Um, Sometimes we will create a cleansing ritual because maybe we don't have water in our session, but our imaginations are very powerful. So if I close my eyes right now, and for me, I would think about maybe like a waterfall or something, and maybe not like Niagara Falls or something like that, but something I could stand under and just experience cleansing, whatever I need. It could be spiritual, it could be whatever. But I would have them come up with their own and then picture it. But I'm giving you my example because our minds can take us to that waterfall. I know what a waterfall looks like. I'm just creating my own waterfall and I'm going to imagine that it can cleanse me. And then usually that feels better. So we have the physical where the example was like to wash your hands, but we can also do it mentally too. And then you do a quick body check. It doesn't have to be a long meditation. It could be 30 seconds and you check, where are you holding tension right now? Is it your jaws? Is it your shoulders? Is it your chest? And take one slow breath and just let that area soften. That's it. Emotional absorption tends to live in our body before it registers in our mind. Research on somatic awareness backs this up. So checking in physically helps you reduce what you're mentally holding. And then you reconnect with something that's actually yours. Okay, what do I feel right now? Not what do they feel. What do I feel? What do I need right now? And then you move towards that. Dr. Stephen Porges, he is the polyvagal theory. Uh, look that up if you want to get into that. But so he explains that when you absorb another person's stress, your nervous system activates. Intentional decompression signals it to settle. You're not just deciding to feel better. You're giving your nervous system a real signal, a transition ritual, something consistent after heavy conversations. That's what keeps you from carrying it home, carrying it around, or whatever you want to look at it as. Okay. So, tool number 3 is the decompression protocol, and you will come up with that on your own with what works for you. I gave you some examples. And so you'll come up with your own because that is really going to help you. And when you think about like, I do this a lot or I carry other people's stuff a lot, that's okay. Recognize it. What do you need to change? Because it doesn't make you a bad person or anything like that. It actually makes you really like caring, right? But are you caring and carrying? Because that's different. We don't need to carry other people's stuff. That is their journey that they need to work on, they need to heal from. And this is your journey that you need to work on and that you need to heal from. So here's what I want you to take from today. Caring about people is powerful. It's not the issue. I want you to still care about people after you hear this talk. Don't stop doing that. We need that in this world today. Lord have mercy. We need to care about people, okay? Powerful. The issue is when caring starts turning to carrying. When you absorb what's around you and you lose track of what's actually yours. A couple weeks ago, I did an episode and I was talking about, um, oh my gosh, I forgot how I worded it, but basically not living a life that you designed, where you feel like you're living for everybody else. And I think it's because we forget to like ask ourselves, what do we need? So we're no longer doing the needs, we're doing the shoulds. I should pay this bill. I should go to work. We still have to be responsible adults, but there should be some wants in there too. Oh, I want to go get a ice cream cone. I'm going to make time to go do that. And so we have to kind of think about those kind of things, like what's actually ours, and really get in touch with ourselves. I am a big fan of self awareness. I practice it every single day. As a therapist, you have to, or I don't even think you would be a good therapist if you don't. Or you might, experience a lot of burnout. I don't know, but I make sure to make it a point. And that could be journaling one day, that could be walking and processing one day, that could be even preparing for this show. I have to self reflect, because am I doing those things? Am I practicing what I preach? And I am, in case y'all were wondering. So, going back to the issue is when caring turns into carrying. Remember that. You can love people deeply and stay grounded in yourself at the same time. They're not opposites. So, 3 things that you can practice this week. Notice whose emotion that you're actually feeling. Ask yourself before you observe it. Ask what people need before you assume or before you overextend. And then create a ritual that brings you back to yourself after heavy conversations. You pick one and you start there. Any of these we can do right now. You can click the X and go start to work on you, right? We can apply these things right now. Ask yourself, whose emotion are you feeling before you observe it. That's gonna happen at probably any point of our day, right? When you interact with other people, you can say, oh, wait a minute. What am I feeling? Is it theirs or is it mine? You can do that. Ask what people need before you assume or overextend. Hey, do you need help with that? Hey, do you just want me to listen, or are you looking for me to think it through with you? They know what they need. If they don't, they can think about what they need. And you don't have to assume, and you don't have to overextend. That's too heavy. Stop doing that. Create a ritual that brings you back to yourself after heavy conversations. Could be a cup of hot tea, and I'm just holding it and it's feeling all soothing, and I'm thinking about everything in my head, and then I go for a walk or something like that. But then I remind myself of the timeline. Okay, that was then, this is now, and go from there, right? It's all self awareness. Care without carrying. That's how you stay in this for the long haul. So if this landed for you, everything that I do is hosted on my website, bio dot Arielle, Ariellen, for Nicole, Jordan, Jordan. If you want to hear other podcast episodes, if you want to see my research studies, if you want to purchase my book, if you want to support my nonprofit, all of it is there. I work with people one-on-one for EMDR intensives. I train clinicians. I run the Jordan Effect. That's my nonprofit named after my late daughter, for mental health support for veterans and first responders and underserved communities, because I don't want anybody to go through this alone. So take care of yourself this week. Take care of yourself first so that you can actually take care of other people. Resilience is not optional, it is the mission. I'm Dr. J. You got this. This is the reset, uh, where we take those WTF moments and we turn them into breakthroughs. Have a good week, y'all. I'll see you next Sunday at 12.
It's my reset, walking head high, that's the preset. Got the J in the chair, you can breathe it. Exhale, we gon' turn that hurt into detail. It's my reset, new page, new frame, hit the refresh. If you made it to the screen, that's a big flex. Type here in the box, that's progress. That's progress! You've been carrying that weight since the group chat. Smiling in the pic, but you knew that. Heart say break, mind say keep going. Now you in the lobby and the lights start glowing. Edge laid, hoodie on, still holy. Tear stains on the sleeve, still cozy. Black girl doc with the big gold hoops. Say your name and the chain get loose. It's my reset, walking head high, that's the preset. The J in the chat, you can breathe it. Exhale, we gon' turn that hurt into detail. It's my reset, new page, new frame, hit the refresh. If you made it to the screen, that's a big flex. Type here in the box, that's progress. That's progress! We wave when we wade through the deep end. We brave when we break, then we deepen. You're safe in the space when you log in. Drop one word for your check-in. It's my reset, walking head high, that's the preset. The J in the chat, you can breathe it. Exhale, we gon' turn that hurt into detail. It's my reset, new page, new frame, hit the refresh. If you made it to the screen, that's a big flex. Type here in the box, that's progress.